Hi, it's time for another Thorn magical musical podcast blog. Welcome to my practice room where we're going to go through some songs that I actually haven't played in a while. The last time was when I was getting ready for to release one of my albums, which is on Bandcamp. Um, I'll link to it in case you're interested. It's the one called "You're Not My Gwithyr." It's about when I was leaving my abusive ex and just working through all of the feelings about that. That said, these songs aren't as grim as you would think that would be. Like, there's a lot of hope, mainly because of the presence of my patron god in the songs. That would be Gwyn ap Nudd. As I've mentioned before, this this is my tiny Gwyn. I've been told he looks like Mothman, and I feel like he would appreciate the fact that people think he looks like a tiny cryptid, because he has a very spooky vibe. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna try and describe things in case my aunt, who I'm going to send these to, happens to be watching. So hello and shout out to Aunt Lucy if you're here. But my tiny Gwyn is a little about 5 or 6 inch high crochet doll with I used gray yarn for the skin and white woolly yarn for the hair. He has long kind of wild hair. There's no face for my tiny dolls except for the eyes, and for this one I did red yarn for the eyes. And he has a tiny black skirt, and his arms I also did black yarn because he told me that he wanted to kind of be wearing opera gloves. So I think that he's very cute in a spooky way. And my other tiny god, it was actually the first one that I made. I make tiny gods now, and mermaids and fairies. If you want to check out I guess they'd be on my Instagram or my Etsy. I can link those too. Haven't gotten around to posting them on my other channel yet, but this one I also have tiny Dionysus here. I used kind of a light tan yarn for the body, and he has a reddish pink skirt and wild blue and purple and green hair. It's this variegated yarn that I have, and little brown eyes, and I basically just crocheted a chain, so just a rope of yarn, just chain stitch, in several different colors of green yarn, and that is supposed to be his ivy crown. So that's wound around his head. Anyway, I also have my tiny goat with me. He's the Zodiac Beanie Baby goat, and he's wearing a black crocheted scarf that one of my friends, I don't know who, I have my suspicions, but no one has come forward. But someone snuck the scarf onto him, which was very cute. I came back to my table and I was like, oh, my goat has a scarf now. So yeah, this the Beanie Baby goat has it's very colorful and has a lot of sparkly bits, like the hooves, and these little glass eyes that just he just looks at you like right into your soul, and he's just so cute. Anyway, aside from that, this whole thing isn't very visual. Like, it's more about the music and me talking about it, so I won't go into depth much. But I think at one point I showed my just an example of what my music looks like, and it's basically just lines of text for the lyrics, and then chord progressions and notes about do an arpeggio here. So yeah, anyway, the songs that I chose to go through today are ones that are where I was kind of working through my situation with me and Gwen, and like thinking about my ex, but I also kind of explored it through the lens of stories that I like, especially magical girl stories and other like anime and fantasy and sci-fi. So the main one is Madoka, because I love that show. But then I also have a song where I also explore the story through the lens of Rosin Maiden, and there's some other references too. I'm gonna drink some water. By the way, my cut on my finger has healed, thankfully. It took several days before I felt comfortable playing again, because it was right on the pad on my little finger on my left hand. So pressing right keys wasn't very hard because they're more broad, but like the black keys are narrower, and they just like I guess they take more force to kind of balance on, and I kept thinking, why did I add so many E flat chords? Because I had to have my pinky on E flat, which is black. So okay. Interestingly, not every sharp or flat has to be a black key. I mean, they usually are, but like what we normally call C could also be B sharp, but that's a very weird thing to say, but it, in certain circumstances like that could work. Because it's a half step above B, whereas mostly the notes that are a half step above a white note would be a black note. But in the case of B and C, and also E and F, there's not a black note between them, so it gets a bit weird. That's your music theory for this episode. Probably not the only one, but yeah. And let's start with this song called The Masquerade, which, see if I can balance my hot chocolate on the window ledge, and I can, so that's good. This song was very much inspired by this song called, I think it's called Are You the One, and it's by Within Temptation. So I wanted something that sounded very much like that song, but was about my realization that my patron god, Gwen Apney, had always been the one I called the Horned God when I was Wiccan, and so like my love for him was also my love for this other god that I thought I was losing when I switched over mostly to Gwen, but I think it was just him in the same, like in a different form. And there's a lot of references to different stories that I like there's one to Rosario plus Vampire about how Inner Mocha kind of takes off her mask and has long silver hair. much like someone else. I always see Gwen with long white hair, so yeah, I'm just going to play this for you. I'm going to move the tiny gods over here by my goat so I can put the music here. Okay. I did play this one last night, but the other two I have not played since working on the album, or at least certainly not since moving here. So you'll get to see my reaction, I guess, to the first time playing through it in a while. Either I'm forgetting the exact tune or something is weird here. Okay, moving on. He is mysterious as moonlight. Is there poetry to paint him? All my songs can only echo. All my letters from the horned God will you sign and keep them, King? For I swear I know your footsteps and the shadow of your ranchers. Are you the one? 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 Phew. I think the only two pop culture references were to Mocha in Rosario plus Vampire and the Doctor from Doctor Who. But you might think the Lord of Dreams was a reference to the Sandman, but it could be, but it was a reference to a dream I had where I was chased by a skeleton and then took refuge with the rest of the town in the town hall, and the people in charge were like, okay, the skeleton wants to come in and like parley, so we're gonna let him in. And I was like, really? He was chasing us around town and acting like a horror movie. You want to let him in now? So, but I was like, well, I obviously can't control what the elders do, because that kind of reflected my life at the time. So, so they let him in, and to my shock, he's this otherworldly lord who looks like an elven king or a fey lord of some sort, and he has this whole retinue, and he like comes in and graciously speaks to all of us, and clearly wants to like make amends and make a real connection with us. Then he got to me and he stopped and asked if I wanted to join him, or said that I could join him or something like that. And it was one of those moments where I was like, I have no idea what's going on, but I know deep in my soul that I am here for it. I'm going to join you, whoever you are. And but after that I woke up and I was like, okay, I'm pagan now. I'm allowed to think that was from a deity, because it clearly was. But who was it? And for years I thought I might have figured it out, but just couldn't connect to the deity I thought it was. And just eventually Gwen told me it was him, and I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. Because that wasn't the only dream where he showed up in disguise, but like it was one of the more like kind of intense ones that where it's like, wow, that sounds like it would be in a book. Like it sounds made up, but it actually happened. So, yeah. It's not the only time he showed up as a skeleton either, and scared me in a dream. Speaking of disguise, one of the other times, actually twice actually, he showed up as Alucard, which I think was the point was that he wanted to teach me, kind of like Alucard teaches Ceres Victoria. And like Alucard's a pretty seems like it was a pretty useful symbol for helping me start to understand the type of being Gwyn was. Like obviously not exactly, but when I feel like when you're an old god who who humans haven't interacted with in the way that they used to for quite a long time, like you kind of have to choose, okay, what's the closest thing that can kind of help them conceptualize what type of being I am and how I want to interact. So he's very practical. Also, I noticed while playing that Gwyn, Tiny Dio, fell down from the piano, and I was like, you know what? He'll be fine there. Just gonna wait. He can chill on the floor until we're done with this. So yeah, that was the Masquerade. Actually, the sleigh bells was kind of a reference to the White Witch in Narnia, but also just the fact that Gwyn is in my tradition at least, the Winter King, so. And now we get into things that are much more like, these are references to Madoka, so let's do the girl in the yellow dress. What time is it? Okay, not bad. As long as I don't wax poetic too much about this, we should get done in about 40 minutes. I mean, total. And so this is about a journey that Gwyn took me on, like when you kind of journeying with the deity is kind of like, I guess it's kind of like astral traveling, but I use the word journeying, but it's like when you're meditating and allow them to kind of mentally take you somewhere. And I found myself as a magical girl in this really seedy bar. It was like almost like something out of Magical Girl Noir Quest, if you know that fanfic. It's I was and am a big fan of it, but sadly I don't think it was ever finished, but there was, like, it was a really odd juxtaposition of like the seedy bar and also I'm a magical girl, and so Gwyn was playing the role of the mysterious bartender in this bar, and he pointed out that also at the bar there was this girl in a yellow dress who was clearly also a magical girl, but she was crying, and I was like, okay, who is she? Why is she crying? And he told me to go talk to her, and it became clear who she was and what was going on. If, just in case my voice doesn't carry over the piano, I'll try to explain it after I play this, but I'll let you hear the song first. And in between all of that, there's like my kind of thinking through the ways in which I kind of feel like a magical girl for Gwyn. Like I'm a guy, I'm a trans man, but I often connect to like female characters in stories, and there's there's a couple different ways that I feel like Gwyn kind of slots into this story, because he's someone I care a lot about and would follow anywhere, kind of like Homura would follow Madoka, and he's my, like, the one that gives me hope, but also like I'm hesitant to compare him to Kyubey because he's not at all like all of the bad things Kyubey does. It's not like that, but he is an otherworldly being who kind of offered me a chance to step into a different life, like Kyubey does with the contracts, and I feel like there's a certain, like, my vows to Gwyn are kind of like they're a thing that kind of takes you into a new life, a new version of the world where you can't go back to your old life, and there's almost a sacred, well, for me there is a sacred weight to that, but and the wishes in Madoka are kind of like that too. Like it's something so important to them that they're willing to completely change and give up their old life in order to follow this new path. So yeah, and then I mentioned this ring a lot. It's a silver ring I'm wearing on my ring finger with a gem in the center, and it's like a clear gem and silver antlers. I've had to learn how not to get it caught on everything, but I wear it as sort of a symbol of both my sacred marriage to Gwyn, like it's a wedding ring basically, but also like a symbol of my devotion to him as kind of a monk, I guess, a devotee. And there's that ring becomes a symbol in the song as well, because their soul gems are stored in rings that they wear when they're not in egg form. So yeah, I think that's all the background we need. I haven't played this in a long time, so bear with me. There's a tall-faced stranger So the girl in the yellow dress was me, or part of me. That part of me that was still sad about having to say goodbye to my ex and the relationship that we had, even though I was the one leaving them. Like, for a long time it had felt like they were really the one abandoning me, and which is often how it literally would play out in a lot of the situations that their abusiveness made itself known. So I like the fact that at the end Gwen says that, like, even though he can't completely change what that other, like the girl in the yellow dress is grieving about, like, he can be there for her. And yeah, I did ask him, why is my subconscious, like, I guess, shadow wearing yellow of all the colors? Nothing against yellow, but it's just not one of my colors. And he said, because it's a color you would never wear. So I guess it kind of really showed that, yeah, this is your shadow. So yeah. Then we have one more that is, when I mentioned Rosin Maiden, this is the one that references that series. For those who don't know, it's about it's like Pinocchio, but with a bunch of female dolls who are trying to become real, and they like they're trying to be real girls basically, and they have adorable frilly dresses, and it's like they're very much the Victorian porcelain doll type of aesthetic. So I combined that with my connection to Madoka and other magical girl shows, with Gwen as either the doll maker or Madokami. I realize it's been out for 10 years, but I'm still hesitant about giving spoilers. But yeah, spoilers. This one is longer than most of them, and it has 4 pages, which makes it difficult to balance them all on my music stand. With an actual piano, I would have, like, I mean, this is an actual piano, but like with a traditional piano, I would have more space to just spread out my music, but yeah. This keeps wanting to fall, and it's gonna drive me nuts. So this is actually 2 songs that I combined into one. The first one is really short. It's called A Doll's Prayer, and the second one is Just Breathe. So, like, I combined the names to Just Breathe, parentheses, A Doll's Prayer. I added the first song on there because it is very much inspired by specifically Rosin Maiden with the dolls and all. And it's just so short that I wasn't sure what else to do with it. So I was like, okay, it's an intro now. So this, at least the Just Breathe part, I don't remember when exactly the Doll's Prayer part was written, but that one, the longer part was written in the early days of COVID, actually. So it's kind of a reference to, like, the fact that we were learning there was this respiratory illness that's going around, and also my anxiety about the whole thing. And I hadn't realized that my ex was abusive, but I knew there was something wrong in my marriage, my human marriage, and I was like, okay, I don't have a lot to lean on in my life, so I'm just gonna call out to my patron God and just kind of ask him to give me hope to keep going. So, yeah. There's definitely an element of Gwyn, the deity, being embodied in breath or wind, which fits with the idea of, well, a lot of different traditions I feel like have that, like spirit, breath, wind, but also in my specific version of Brythonic or Welsh polytheism, that Awen is, or divine inspiration is seen as breath sometimes, and I get my Awen from Gwyn. It's like I go to the corner store and get my Awen. No, but I see him as the one who gives me my inspiration. So yeah. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed my foray into songs that I haven't played it in a while, but I like getting to know them again. So yeah, see you next time.